Hey, I was in a clubhouse room earlier and we were talking about your body and how it shows you signs that it needs to recharge and it needs you to kind of start filling that cup up again. Because we all know we cannot pour from an empty cup. And in fact, a client of mine who I've been saying that a lot of the things that are going on with her body are down to stress. She's literally just voice noted me and mentioned that she really believes that what has been going on with her body is down to stress, the things we've been saying. And it is funny how our body reacts. Now, something that is very, very common. Now, just because something is common does not mean it is normal. And that is waking up during the night. You literally jump out of bed. Well, yeah, you don't jump out of bed. Your eyes open up and you think, oh, God, I need to go to the toilet again. You get out of bed, you go and have a wee, and then you may struggle to get back to sleep, or you might get back to sleep quite easily. But it could happen once. It might happen twice, three, four. Honestly, the worst it ever was for me a few years back was 6 times a night, regularly, 4, 5, 6 times a night. I was waking up, going to the toilet, and I thought it was normal. Now, just because something is normal does not make it healthy. Just because something is common, now flip those words. This is common. It is not normal. Your body should be able, unless you've drunk loads and loads of water or fluid or whatever it is just before you go to bed, your body should be able to go 7, 8, 9 hours without needing the toilet when you are asleep. And it's very, very important that you get this sleep because your body clears out a lot of the rubbish. It basically has its own garbage disposal team that comes and collects the bins that have been put out and empties the rubbish when you are asleep. And you could imagine if we didn't have the local councils around here, like here in the UK, we have the bin men come once a week and they clear out our recycling or our trash, whatever it is. And if we didn't have that, it would just pile up, and eventually it would go rotten. It would start stinking. There'd be loads of rats and vermin about, all these different things. And that is exactly what could happen in your body if we don't sleep and our body isn't able to go through these processes in order to clear out that junk. Another thing, if you are waking between the hours of 3 and 5 a.m., usually what this is actually doing, because after a few people have said to me, this is when I'm most creative. It's when you're most stressed. Your cortisol levels are higher, which means you're more alert. Your eyesight is going to be better because your pupils are going to be just really, really zoned in. Your blood is going to be out of your gut, into your limbs, ready to run away from a lion. Not that we see many lions here in the UK between the hours of 3 and 5 a.m. In fact, we don't really see any lions here in the UK. So your body getting into this stressed out state is not really doing you any good. And the chances are, if you do wake up between the hours of 3 and 5 and you are wide awake, you are wired, you are alert, all these different things, you have a bit of an energy slump later on in the day, which is usually going to be costing you a lot more than waking up at this time. So it's very important when we look at the habits we have around sleep in order to get these sleep habits right. Another one that people have is that they do sleep through the night, but they wake up and they have loads of brain fog. They feel tired. They feel really, really lethargic. Like they really don't want to go out and grab the day. Now, honestly, our energy does go up and down. There are going to be some days you don't feel as on it as the other days, but if it is regularly happening, it is your body showing you a sign that your health isn't where you want it to be. Unless you want to be stressed and you want to be waking thin and tired, you want to have low moods, you want to have low motivation, you want to potentially struggle with other ailments. I don't know, like maybe that is one of the things. Now, what is actually going on? Well, if you're waking during the night, chances are you probably have some problems with blood glucose management. Now, what that means is we have sugar in our blood. When we eat our food, sugar goes into our blood, glucose, and then we have to have insulin pumped out from our pancreas. So you have to have a healthy pancreas to grab hold of that insulin, take it to the cell where it crosses the barrier and does its job in helping your body create energy. And then from there, it gets stored in muscles or wherever it is, like if it's not going into the cells. Now, This glucose is a toxic substance when it's in the blood. And if we are too stressed, we release something called cortisol, which is a stress hormone. And the problem with this is that it wakes us up. It makes us have that 3 to 5 a.m. alertness. Now, with your brain up here, that fuels primarily on glucose. Now, eventually you can use ketones if you're not using it, but your neurons need this glucose in order to function and be fueled through the night. Now, your brain, even though it weighs 3% of your body weight, it takes up around 20 to 25% of your total energy consumption. So all those calories you have, 20 to 25% of those are spent fueling the brain. Unless it's alcohol, then chances are we're going to have even more problems. But when we store our glucose, so we have these storage sites of our glucose, we have to be able to take them out of the storage sites and put them back into usable forms so our brain can work if we're not eating regularly. Now, when we sleep during the night, our brain uses all this fuel and we need to go to them storage sites. If we aren't able to convert those back from stored to usable energy, then we are going to have problems. As a result, our blood glucose goes lower because the brain is grabbing all this glucose from our blood, and we release cortisol, whose main function is to boost your glucose level, your blood sugar levels, because that's what happens when we go into this fight or flight mode, this really stressed out mode. And what happens then? Well, we have the blood go from your gut to your legs, as I mentioned earlier. Stress, brain function goes up, eyes don't go out, eyes dilate, and they really, really get super, super sensitive. As a result, you wake up, because that's what happens in the morning. We have a rise of cortisol in the morning, and we need to have a rise of cortisol. It's just later in the day, we then want that cortisol to go down. We have a neurotransmitter called serotonin, which we want to come up. And then we get into melatonin, which is going to be the sleep hormone. So how can you help yourself with this? Well, if you're waking during the night, if you're waking in the morning, no. If you're waking between 3 and 5 a.m., feeling massively wired, but then feel drained later on, or you suffer from brain fog, low energy, low moods, low motivation, you can't stick to a diet, or you keep falling off and crave loads of sugar, what is going on? Well, first off, we need to look at what is your morning and evening routine. Is there extra stress being caused in there? Are you waking with having coffee, having caffeine straight away? Is this something that you're doing? Then we'll look at your evening routine. Are you spending a lot of time on screens where they're just keeping your brain wired? Could you use some blue light blocking glasses? Are you working really late? Are you stressed out late? Are you having alcohol in the evening? Because believe it or not, when people say, is it too early to drink at 11 a.m.? It's probably going to be healthier for you between those lunch hours than it is going to be at 6, 7, 8, 9 p.m. because alcohol is a sedative. It will knock you out. But that does not mean it is giving you good quality restorative sleep that allows those bin men to come in and clear out all that crap that's going on in your body. And then we look at blood glucose management with stress levels. We can look at hydration and all these different things that are going on in your body. Now, if you are feeling that you are kind of overwhelmed because you're waking up multiple times, you've done it for years. Now, I've worked with many, many clients on this, on making sure they can get a good night's sleep, making sure then their head hits the pillow, they take a few minutes to go to sleep, they wake up in the morning and feel rejuvenated. Because if that's not the case, then you're going to struggle with things like poor nail health, poor hair health, poor skin health, struggle to lose weight if that's what you want to be doing. Or you might feel bloated all the time. You might feel that brain fog, like you're trying to get a job done, but you're just staring at a screen and need another coffee. If you think this is you, then drop me a message and we can chat. Just in 20 minutes, I'm just going to give you some information that is going to allow you to move your health forward. You want to take it further than that? Great. We can look at one-to-one coaching. You don't? Well, you're going to be moving forward with your health. So simply drop me a message and we can book in a time to chat for 20 minutes and get you moving forward with your health. Because no one likes being tired and no one likes being overly tired and no one likes that feeling that low moods and motivation brings. Well, I don't believe anyone does. Correct me if I'm wrong.